Hi, this is Craig Lane with Health Alchemy, week 34 of the Medication Myth, part 2. I have an author coming in on Sunday, August 25th, speaking of the pharmaceutical myth in his book. And as far as today goes, I just really want to spend a few minutes mentioning that the importance of the myth of medication is that the highlight to walk away with here today is that medications are dead. They don't come from the living, nor do they help living processes. And then so it's one of the false premises of health through the medical field is they're just asking the wrong questions. The right question is, how can we add life to a body? How can we add chi, life force, one of these things you can't measure? And the scientific mind, we want answers. I have my own science mind, and that's, I think, what separates the quote-unquote quacks from the real practitioners. And I wouldn't be so arrogant to say I'm a real practitioner, but I would say at least I'm curious about doing detective work with people and finding the best answers and the cheapest solution and the long-term things. And medications never do that. They're a short-term fix. Your dashboard light goes off in your car saying the oil is low. So instead of adding oil or fixing the problem why the oil pressure or the oil is low, we break the light. And that's basically what we do when we take a mucus thing or a fever lowering medication or an antibiotic or a painkiller. All those, we're just breaking the dashboard light. And so the myth of this is that often the quick fast track through this, and the takeaway is that we have tools, and one of the best tools we have is colon irrigation and enemas. The tool we have are nutrient-rich foods that are fresh and vital, more raw foods. Another tool we have is not scheduling so much and beginning to pull our little tendrils out of the system that demands everything of you, like working for a corporate job where you're in here 9 to 5 and then you're so exhausted you don't have time to prep your food. We're heading back to a time where we can move forward with technology and add the things from nature and of life, because only food and plants and community interactions and things are going to build life. This virtual community of people that we communicate with in the media, on the internet, and on the phones and texting, it's not really life because we're not really actually having a conversation. We get to edit and fix and put out a public image, but when you're face to face with someone, or face to face with a plant, or face to face with a living food, getting it in your body, then you're adding life to your system and you're in a give and take. You're not living in an image. So the myth of medication is part of this. The small mirrors the large. The little microcosm here is that we're putting chemicals in our body, and just like this myth of supplements, when we take tocopherol or ascorbic acid or thiamine or riboflavin, all in their isolated forms, we need to think of them as drugs, which is what they are. They're dead chemicals. Ascorbic acid is not vitamin C, and so this is part of the medication myth, is that I'm all for supplements as long as they come from food, and that's why I use a few companies such as Garden of Life and Standard Process, and Juice Plus is great, and there's just some good things going on out there. Premier Research Lab has some good products. And there's more than that, Ron's. There's some great companies out there that are doing the right thing. They're dehydrating raw foods and putting them in pills and liquids and tablets, and that's the way to go, and that's the way you're going to regenerate yourself. So in my friend Gerald's book here, Pharmaceutical Myth by Gerald Rowlese, he presents, and the new hope is to regenerate your organs, and that's through raw foods and organ meats and what Standard Process Incorporated sells, protomorphogens, and there's other things for this. We've got Eat to Thrive, and so purification is part of it, and not believing in genetics or your destiny per se, because genetics aren't our destiny. So I want to just bring this up as part of the medication myth, is that we have lots of guidebooks, and this book here is a good marker as anything out there, along with the work of Weston Price. You can read about him, and you can read about the life of Dr. Royal Lee and Bernard Jensen. And there are many, many health heroes. Kate Shanahan, Sally Fowle in the Weston Price tradition has some great things to say. And I think that's more just, there's a lot of people out there that are looking at this and really offering more hope than is available through the medical system. And I'm not saying we shouldn't take medications. That's not the premise here. What we're saying is we use them for what they are and get the system healthier, and then we move and work with the foundational issues, is getting more life into our body and getting the toxins drained out and getting them transformed. It's really, we don't tune ourselves up like we do our cars, and we need to start thinking about, we change the filters in our car because we have to, we put good fuel in our car because we have to. It's time to start thinking about ourselves as such, and then medications will no longer be necessary. As I heard once in Confessions of a Medical Heretic by Harvey Mendelssohn, in his book, Confessions of a Medical Heretic, this is a quote. I believe it was written in the 1970s. And this is from a physician who dropped out because he was so sickened by what he saw. And I'm quoting, this is not my opinion. If modern medicine was to disappear off the face of the earth, 90% of all illness would disappear with it. I'll repeat. If modern medicine was to disappear off the face of the earth, 90% of all illness would disappear with it. So let that settle in as you move forward with your life. And really, I don't go to the hospital. I would only go and use medications if my life was in jeopardy. And even then, I'm not sure I would want to live if there was something being put in my body that was going to alter me so much that I wouldn't be able to be the person I am or want to be. I would rather move on and move into the mystery. So consider what I say and give it some free thought. And we're always open for a good debate around my house, because I believe that's what any community needs, is open dialogue, discussion. And when things begin to be, you're not a patriot if you question the way things are, then that's when the red flags come up for me. So the true patriot is one who questions and wants better community and more people skills and more energy and more life in his life. And I believe that our leaders are not promoting that. So let's move forward together and see what we can do with that. Craig Lane with Health Alchemy, signing out. The Medication Myth Part 2. If you're anywhere in the Bay Area, book signing at my office, 12 to 2, Sunday, August 25th. Gerald Rowley's CNC will be speaking about his book and doing a book signing question and answer at the Health Alchemy office. Look forward to seeing any of you there. Bye-bye.